Oh me, oh my. Welcome to Into the Cypher, the Into the Cypher podcast. It's your host, your guru, your that guy, Cypher Da MC here, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. And I know. I told you guys last season that it was going to be gloves off. No holds barred, I told you. No holds barred. So hopefully that you're rocking with your boy today. Hopefully you're having a blessed day. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost. Well, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. How you doing? What? You know what? Before you say anything, before you go any further, I'm going to tell you something that you often get told. It may sound cliche. It's going to be all right. And you know why it's going to be all right? Because you could have been anywhere in the world. You're most likely anywhere in the world. But you're here with me. I appreciate that. And with that being said, before Jay-Z sues me or something, you know I got to get the disclaimers out and all that sort of good stuff. I'm not a relationship expert. I'm not a doctor. Or I don't have a master's degree or a doctorate from Harvard. I'm just a regular Joe Schmo. Just a regular guy. Just a regular guy on this journey to not only try to be the best individual that he can be, the best person, the best human being that he can be, but we are on this journey together. So I thank you for tuning in. I thank you for just being here. And I wanted to just reach out, just wanted to touch on something. It's kind of spur of the moment. So of course, you know, it's kind of one of those things that you kind of have to say, okay, where did this come from? You know, it was spur of the moment. I have to do things as the, you know, when they come to me, when I feel it. So, the dynamic between men and women, crazy. Relationships, crazy. And the thing of it is, what I've come to understand, or what I'm trying to understand, even being an adult now, is that I don't understand everything. Let me say that again. I don't understand everything, but I've come to understand that. You know, I no longer try to understand women. I no longer try to understand men, even though as a man, we have general characteristics that we all share. But of course, there are some things that set us apart. There are going to be some things that set us apart as far as how we approach things, how we see things, our different perspectives and whatnot. And also keep in mind that there are some things that pretty much unite us. And I'm not talking in reference to sports or anything such as that. Oh, I'm a man, I like sports. I'm a man too, I like sports too. Chest bump. Wow. No, I'm talking about those things that essentially all men want from the opposite sex. They want understanding. They want respect. They want also to be loved, as odd as that sounds for, you know, maybe some women to understand, because it depends on what you're used to. Ladies, if you are used to a man who walks around beating his chest, swinging through the jungle or vine and, you know, proclaiming that he's king of the jungle in whatever shape, form, or fashion, then yeah, a guy saying, hey, you know what, I have feelings too, you're going to look at them like, wait, what? You're going to give them the Russell Westbrook meme. You know, wait, what? What are you talking about? Men aren't supposed to have feelings. You're just supposed to do. You're just supposed to just, you know, protect and give in to whatever I, as the woman, say. Now, depending on the type of relationship that you have with this woman, men, most of you may have felt this way before. You know, getting to know someone takes time. How much time? I knew you were going to ask that question. That I cannot tell you. I know a lot of things. I know a little bit about a lot and a lot about a little bit, but I do not know how long it is supposed to take to fully get to know someone. Some may say, well, communication is important. Very much so. Communication is definitely important. But let's look at what communication basically is. Let's break down what communication is, and let's pretty much look at it at what it is not. Let's talk about what it is not. It is not complete. Communication is not complete. Meaning there is not an end to it. It's not a, once you do this and this, your circle is complete. You've done all the communication that you can do. No. It is not. It is not complete. It is ongoing. It is never ending. It is never ever ending. Like the Simpsons TV series. It will never end. It's going to stay on forever. I'm sure. And Bart is going to be 10 or 12 years old for the rest of our lives. Also, communication is not fair. It is not fair. Communication is not fair. Here's what I mean by that. A man who is not used to communicating meets a woman who likes to communicate. For whatever reason, they hit it off, they get along, until something comes up. And as we all know, in this life, random things can come up, from something so out of this world that happens once in a million years to something that, as just kind of cross signals on who was supposed to pick up what from the grocery store. Random things can happen. So a woman who is a big communicator meets a guy who is not so much. He says but a few words, but within those words, he feels like I'm saying 29 paragraphs of things is what's going on. But to the woman, and maybe to the rest of us, he's only saying the words that we hear. So it's not fair in that regards. She can tell him exactly how she's feeling, what she's feeling, why she's feeling this way, and he can sum up in much less words what he's feeling and how he's feeling and why and all that sort of stuff. And for a lot of women, you may feel, oh my gosh, it's like pulling teeth. It's like trying to, it's like trying to scrub the stripes off a tiger. It's just so hard to try to get, the man that I'm with, to tell me how he's feeling. So communication is not fair. It's not fair. And those are just two of the things. You'll have to read more in my book when it comes out. But let's face it. If communication is what most people will say, well, as long as you communicate, everything should be all right. No. In my Ralph Tresvant voice, I tried. Communication it can be unpredictable. Because if the other person is not willing to accept what you are communicating, it doesn't mean that they have to like it. It does not mean that they have to agree with it. But as long as you respect the fact that, hey, this is how I feel about this. Okay, this is how you feel about that. Okay, we have different perspectives. We can agree to disagree. But there lies the caveat, because if we agree to disagree, who oftentimes is at fault for the disagreement to begin with? Because I'll give you a hint, he does not understand. He is not accepting of feelings. He is not willing to, how should I say, he's not willing to take the time to comprehend what the woman is feeling. And no, this is not a, bash men type of deal, but let's face it. We have to be honest with ourselves if we're ever going to get to that point where we can fully understand where the other's coming from. Right? So it doesn't matter how, often you communicate. If it is not effective, then you're just talking. You're just, pretty much, like a kung fu flick. You're just, you're speaking words, but your mouth and the words are not in sync. Hopefully that makes sense to someone. You want to be in sync with someone, and I don't mean the singing group. You want to be in sync with someone. You want to be able to not so much as begin a thought and they finish it. Oh wow, we're so in sync. We're life partners. We're soulmates. Please sit down somewhere with that. Because all it takes is for one person to start to grow. One person to start to venture out, push the limits of their own bubble or their sphere of influence. Now, I don't know you anymore, or who are you? You used to like this and you used to like that, and now you've changed. Well, let's face it, people. Human beings were built to change. I'm just saying. So let's ask the question, why can't we get on the same page? You have feelings for me, I have feelings for you. It's going to take time to fully understand and comprehend how the other one works. Again, I do not know how long it will take. No one does. For some, it may take a short amount of time. For others, it may take a longer period of time. But at least during the process of getting to know the other person, you take the time to say, you know what, I understand that this is how you operate. I understand that this is how you are. Let's see if I can not only understand that, but accept it. Because if you can't accept it, it's likely because you don't understand it. And if you don't understand it, it's likely because you're not taking the time to step out of your shoes and walk a mile in the other person's. I really need someone to hear me on that. Now, before I start getting all kind of tweets and and things, on my Twitter and Instagram, Cypher Da MC, I want it to be known that, hey, I don't hate love. I'm still trying to understand it. To be perfectly honest, I've been in relationships before, and in different kinds of relationships, and they've all had meaning to me. Now, I'm not saying that the other individual, it didn't mean anything to them, but I just want to confirm, just wanted to put it out there. Any relationship that I've ever been in meant something to me. Now, with that being said, I try to, and I like to use myself as an example because I want it to be known that, again, I'm not preaching from a pulpit, I'm not preaching from a soapbox, you. I like to use myself as an example because as I continue to learn and grow, I begin to understand more, but also less about the human psyche. I realize that there are no perfect people, myself included. So with that being said, if I meet someone and they are who they are and I am who I am, meaning they have their quirks, their nuances. Yes, people, I'm still using my SAT words. They have their, there's those things about them that can either infuriate, anger, or you just don't completely understand, about that person. Some people. Now, some things can be overlooked because it's not a matter that it's so egregious and so offensive. Like, oh my gosh, you just run up on old people and drop kick them in their chest when they're not parking in handicapped parking spaces. You're just so mean to people. You just, throw your weight around to the waiter or the waitress or the host or hostess when we go to restaurants and things of that nature. Those are more, you know, things that need prayer. They need prayer. These are things, for instance, I myself consider myself, I guess what you would say, a considerate person. I believe in considerations. Part of who we are as human beings, we're made up of so much, these little things that build us into who we are. And much of who we are is built from life experience. We've had to go through some trials, some tribulations, so to speak. We've had to some ups and downs, some good times, some bad times, whatever you want to call them. They are all experiences that factor in to who we are right now. Now, with that being said, when you're trying to get to know someone, it depends on the approach on how you get to know someone. During the 40s and 50s, even though I wasn't born during that time, you often heard the stories of how grandma and grandpa were courting. There was no sex involved, maybe no kissing, no touching or anything such as that. It was just, long walks, talking, getting to know the other person on an emotional level. Of course, things have changed, of course, in the span of 60, 70 years. And nowadays, it's kind of, hey, I like you, you like me. Oh, we're having sex now. Oh, now we're in a relationship. A couple of months down the line, I don't know who you are. Who are you? Why are you here? Oh, I didn't know this about you. And you wonder why things went awry. Now, of course, most people would say, well, you have your times and stuff like that. You got to change with the times. Me personally, I'm a little more old school in some ways. Some ways I'm not. If I've ever liked someone, if I've ever, enjoyed their company, I made it known that I did, and wherever it led, that's where it led. So, with that being said, when you get to know someone, how are you approaching that aspect of getting to actually know them? Like, what do you consider getting to know someone? Can you get to know someone without, holding their hand or kissing them or any type of physical activity? Without sex, basically. I know it may seem far-fetched and it sounds like an episode from Stranger Things. What? People are actually, there are still people out here who still save themselves for marriage. They don't, they're still virgins. They're still, keeping themselves, pretty much waiting for the right person, so to speak. What I've come to understand, and what most of us, and what I'd like for each and every one of you that is listening to understand, is that there are no guarantees in life. You could be with someone for a number of years and then realize, we really don't have that much in common. We really just got comfortable with each other. You can meet someone on a train or a bus on the way to work or from work or just to some random event and have more in common with them, have more of a connection or chemistry with them than the person that you've been seeing for X amount of time. It can happen. So the question still remains, how long does it take to get to know someone? Are you giving the individual that you're really trying to get to know the opportunity that they deserve, whether you're male or female? Are you using their past against them? Are you using what you think that they used to be against them? Are you trying to get through their what they're dealing with to understand them better? I want to leave you with this. If you take the time to say, you know what, you have some things about you that I may not like, but it's possible I don't like them because I don't understand them. Help me to understand you better. At the end of that discussion, after some time, if we both feel that we're still not right for each other or meant to be with each other other than friends or what have you, then we can at least say we explored every opportunity. There are far too many relationships that go awry simply because one does not understand the other. And it's mainly because no time is taken. So I wanted to leave that with you there. Hopefully it resonates with you. I want us to continue to be on this journey to reach the best version of ourselves. I'm on this journey with you. I'm not at the head of the pack. I'm in the middle right there with you side by side. I'm your host, Cypher Da MC, the Muhammad Ali of MCs. Continue to support the podcast, the channel, and I want you to have a great day. Thank you. I love each and every one of you. And as always, before you love anyone else, you must first love yourself. And I'm out this thing. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is... I will not lose. Into the cypher with your light.